Turtles All the Way Down is a 2024 American romantic drama film based on the 2017 novel of the same name by John Green. The film is directed by Hannah Marks from a screenplay by Elizabeth Berger and Isaac Aptaker, and stars Isabela Merced. The story centers on a 16-year-old with obsessive-compulsive disorder who pursues the disappearance of a billionaire. The project began development at Fox 2000 Pictures in December 2017, with Berger and Aptaker announced as screenwriters and Marks set to direct it in January 2019. Because the Walt Disney Company acquired 21st Century Fox, the parent company of Fox 2000 Pictures, Disney closed Fox 2000 and put the project into turnaround, until it was eventually acquired by New Line Cinema. Merced, who had starred in another adaptation of Green's work, Let It Snow, 2019, was announced in March 2022. Principal photography began in April of the same year in Cincinnati and ended in June. Turtles All the Way Down was released on May 2, 2024, on the streaming service Max. Premise. See also, Turtles All the Way Down, novel, plot summary. This article's plot summary needs to be improved. Please help do so. Relevant discussion may be found on the talk page. May 2024, learn how and when to remove this message. When a 16-year-old struggling with obsessive-compulsive disorder reconnects with her childhood crush, she confronts the possibility of finding love and happiness in the face of mental illness. Cast: Isabela Merced as Ozza Holmes, Cree as Daisy, Felix Mallard as Davis, Malik Johnson as Michael, Poorna Jagannathan as Dr. Kira Singh, Judy Reyes as Gina, J. Smith Cameron as Professor Abbott, Hannah Marks as Holly, Debbie Ryan as Quinn, John Green as Mr. Adler, Jason Keynes as Mark Holmes. Production. Turtles All the Way Down was optioned by Fox 2000 Pictures upon the publication of the novel in 2017 with John Green and Rosianna House Rojas as executive producers. 3-4 Elizabeth Berger and Isaac Aptaker were announced as screenwriters in May 2018. 5 and Hannah Marks was announced as director in January 2019. 6 After the Walt Disney Company acquired and subsequently closed Fox 2000 Pictures, the project was put into turnaround until it was eventually acquired by New Line Cinema, with distribution rights later passing to the streaming service HBO Max, which would subsequently be replaced by Max. 2-7 The film is also produced by Marty Bowen, Wyck Godfrey, and Isaac Klausner of Temple Hill Entertainment, which also produced screen adaptations of Green's previous novels. 7. Isabela Merced, who had previously starred in another adaptation of Green's work, Let It Snow, 2019, was announced in March 2022. 7 and Judy Reyes, Cree Chiquino, Felix Mallard, J. Smith Cameron, Poorna Jagannathan, and Malik Johnson were announced as part of the cast in the following months. 8-9. Principal photography began in Cincinnati, Ohio, on April 26, 2022 to 10 and ended in June. 7. In January 2024, it was announced that the film would have a first look at the Savannah College of Art and Design SCAD TV Fest in Atlanta on February 9, 2024. 11. Release. Turtles All the Way Down was released on Max on May 2, 2024. 12-13. Reception. On the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, 86% of 28 critics' reviews are positive, with an average rating of 6.6/10. 14 Metacritic, which uses a weighted average, assigned the film a score of 64 out of 100, based on 9 critics, indicating generally favorable reviews. 15. Adrian Horton of The Guardian awarded the movie 3 stars out of 5 and wrote that it struggles to find a balance between relatable teenage angst and heightened vessel for emotions that feel bigger than life, but complimented the depiction of thought spirals from obsessive-compulsive disorder and Merced's performance. Isabella Yolanda Moner 1-2, born July 10, 2001. 3, known professionally as Isabela Merced since 2019, is an American actress. She played the lead role in the Nickelodeon television series 100 Things to Do Before High School, 2014-2016, and went on to feature in the films Transformers: The Last Night, 2017, Instant Family, 2018, and Sicario: Day of the Soldado, 2018. She starred as the titular character in the adventure film Dora and the Lost City of Gold, 2019, and played main roles in the films Turtles All the Way Down and Alien: Romulus, both in 2024. In 2025, she had a starring role in the second season of the HBO series The Last of Us, and played Hawkgirl in Superman. Early life. Merced was born in Cleveland, Ohio. 3-4 She is the daughter of Katrine, a nurse, who was born in Lima, Peru, and Patrick Moner, a firefighter, who was born in Louisiana. 3-5-6 Merced has stated that Spanish was her first language, and she struggled with English when she first started grade school 5, adding that she considers herself half Peruvian and half from Ohio. I wish I could say I'm 100% Peruvian, I've always felt that way. 7 She has 2 brothers. At age 15, she was accepted into college. 8-9 Merced began acting after her family's Cleveland home was destroyed by a fire. Her father was the firefighter on call that night. 6 She was a Judy Garland fan, so her parents, in an attempt to distract her from the loss, encouraged Merced to audition for a local production of The Wizard of Oz. She agreed and was cast as a Munchkin. She attended the Fairmount Performing Arts Conservatory, led by Broadway producer Fred Sternfeld, who tried to persuade Merced's mother into taking her to New York to pursue auditions. After some reluctance, her mother agreed, and the family moved to New York City for a month to help Merced pursue a career on Broadway. 8-10 Career. Merced has said that she wanted to be an actress from a young age, inspired by movies featuring Shirley Temple and Judy Garland and starting in local community theater at age 6. 11 Merced booked her first job, a Claritin commercial, on what was supposed to be her last day in New York City during the summer she spent auditioning there. 8 She made her Broadway debut at age 10 in a production of Evita 12 in which she sang in Spanish with Ricky Martin. 5. Merced's first starring performance was as C.J. Martin, the lead role on the Nickelodeon television series 100 Things to Do Before High School 5-12-13 from 2014 to 2016. That same year, she began providing the voice of Kate, one of the main characters in the Dora the Explorer spin-off, Dora and Friends, Into the City, a role she performed from 2014 to 2017. 14 In 2015, she appeared as Lori Collins in the Nickelodeon original movie Splitting Atom 15 and was cast as Sadie, one of the leading roles, in the 2016 Nickelodeon original movie Legends of the Hidden Temple. 16-17 Merced's debut album Stopping Time, 2015, was produced by Broadway Records. 18. In May 2016, Merced was cast in the film Transformers: The Last Night, which was released in June 2017. 19-20 She voiced Heather in the animated film The Nut Job 2, Nutty by Nature, which was theatrically released on August 11, 2017. 21. Merced in 2018. In 2018, Merced had a major role in Sicario: Day of the Soldado, playing the daughter of a drug cartel head 22-23 in a performance lauded by critics. The New Yorker's Anthony Lane wrote, "Mona is terrific, and her character's fortunes can be read in her eyes blazing to begin with, as she scraps with another girl in a schoolyard, but dark and blank by the end, their youthful fire doused by the violence that she has seen." 24. In the same year, she played the adopted daughter of the characters played by Mark Wahlberg and Rose Byrne in the comedy film Instant Family 25, for which she also wrote and sang the song I'll Stay. 26-27 In 2019, Merced starred as the title character in Dora and the Lost City of Gold, a live-action film adaptation of the animated series 28-29, and was cast in the Christmas romantic comedy ensemble film Let It Snow. 30 The same year, she was cast opposite Jason Momoa in the film Sweet Girl for Netflix. 31. On October 14, 2019, Merced announced that she had decided to change her stage name to Isabela Merced in memory of her late grandmother. 32. Her first single, Papi, was released in 2019. 33. Followed by her first music video released on November 6, 2019. 34. Failed verification. Merced released her debut EP The Better Half of Me in 2020 through Republic Records. 35. Independent source needed and was named one of Billboard's top 15 new Peruvian artists to listen to in July 2020. 33. In 2024, she starred in Turtles All the Way Down, a film adaptation of the 2017 novel by John Green. 36. 37. And Fede Alvarez's Alien, Romulus. 38. In April 2025, Merced appeared as Dina in Season 2 of The Last of Us. 39. In July 2025, Merced appeared as Kendra Saunders / Hawkgirl in the DC Universe, DCU, film Superman, 2025. 40. Personal life. Merced describes herself as having been queer my whole life, and has been in queer relationships. 41. 42. She says she aims to do her part for the queer community in American pop culture. 43. She attributes her Catholic upbringing to her having been closeted out of being complicit and somebody who has accepted, maybe suppressing their queerness for their environment, basically, and to adapt. 44. She has polycystic ovary syndrome. 45. And has attended therapy and openly discussed her struggles with anxiety. Cree Chiquino, born May 9, 2002. 123, is an American actress. She began her career as a child actress playing one of the lead characters, Babe, in the Nickelodeon comedy television series Game Shakers, which aired from 2015 to 2019. She then went on to portray Marisol Fuentes in the Netflix comedy television series Mr. Iglesias, Mim in the 2020 Netflix film The Sleepover, and Daisy in the 2024 film Turtles All the Way Down. Life and career. Chiquino grew up in Glendale, Queens, New York. 4. She is half Ecuadorian, half Italian. 1. And has a twin sister. 2. Chiquino started dancing at age 4, 5, 6, but her mother put her in acting classes at 11 or 12 years old, after which she decided she wanted to be an actress. 47. In 2015, at age 13, Chiquino was cast in leading role of Babe in the Nickelodeon television comedy series Game Shakers 8-9, which ran for 3 seasons. 4. In August 2018, she was cast in the role of Marisol Fuentes on the Netflix comedy series Mr. Iglesias, which debuted in 2019. 10. In August 2019, Chiquino was cast as Mem, best friend to Clancy, whose parents are kidnapped, in the Netflix film The Sleepover, which was released in August 2020. 11. 12. In July 2021, she was cast as Luisa Torres in the HBO Max limited television series And Just Like That, based on Sex and the City. 13. Chiquino starred as Daisy Ramirez in the film Turtles All the Way Down, directed by Hannah Marks. 14. And released on Max, formerly HBO Max, in May 2024. She is credited by only her first name in the film, having revealed her decision to continue her career mononymously as Cree in a Zach Sang podcast the week before its release. Of the name change, she stated it just felt the most comfortable, and that it marked her moving into a new era with her acting when she entered her 20s. Malik Johnson, born June 22, 2000, is an American actor. He is known for his role as Jason Jackson in the Netflix series Grand Army. His films include Little Boxes, Little Men, and Knucklehead. Early life. Johnson was born in Brooklyn, his first home in Starrett City, to Mark Johnson and Tracy Stith. He grew up in the Bedford-Stuyvesant area, where his father CO owned Headhunter Barbershop from 1996 until its closure in 2015 due to gentrification. 1-2. Malik attended Cobble Hill School of American Studies. 3. His first television appearance was in a 2004 Pediasure commercial. He appeared in catalogs and adverts with gigs such as Verizon, Gap, Target, Pillsbury, Zulily, UFT, Macy's, Sean John, Aeropostale, and Kohl's. He took acting classes with opening act. He is now based in Queens. J. Smith Cameron is an American actress. She gained prominence for her roles as Janet Talbot in the Sundance TV series Rectify, 2013-2016, and Jerry Kellman in the HBO series Succession, 2018-2023, the latter of which earned her 2 Primetime Emmy Award nominations. She spent a majority of her career in theater, making her Broadway debut in the 1982 Beth Henley play Crimes of the Heart. She went on to receive a Tony Award for Best Featured Actress in a Play nomination for the Timberlake-Wertenbaker play Our Country's Good, 1989. She was also nominated for the Drama Desk Award for Outstanding Actress in a Play for Sean O'Casey's Juno and the Paycock, 2014. For her role in the film Nancy, 2018, she was nominated for the Independent Spirit Award for Best Supporting Female. Her other notable films include 84, Charing Cross Road, 1987, Mighty Aphrodite, 1995, Sabrina, 1995, In and Out, 1997, You Can Count on Me, 2000, Margaret, 2011, and Christine, 2016. She also appeared in the television series True Blood, 2010-2011, Divorce, 2016-2018, Search Party, 2017-2020, and Fleischman is in Trouble, 2022. Early life and education. Smith was born in Louisville, Kentucky, the daughter of architect Richard Sharp Smith and granddaughter of architect Richard Sharp Smith. 1. She attended Florida State University for 1 year and was enrolled in its School of Theater, where she met film director Victor Nunez, who cast her as a lead in his film Gal Young Un, 1979. 2. She also studied acting at HB Studio 3 in New York City. She began being credited as J. Smith in college out of concern that her first name, Jeannie, was too girlish. 4. She added a family name, Cameron, when the Actors Equity Association told her there was already a J. Smith, and there was a rule that 2 actors could not have the same professional name. 5. Career. She made her Broadway debut in August 1982, replacing Mia Dillon as Babe Bottrell in Crimes of the Heart. 6, 7, 8 She appeared as Maggie in the original Broadway cast of Lend Me a Tenor in 1989. 9 The cast of that play won an Outer Critics Circle Award, Special Awards. 10 She appeared in the Broadway production of Our Country's Good in 1991, where she was nominated for a Tony Award for Best Featured Actress in a Play. 11, 12 She won an Obie Award for the Off-Broadway Drama Department production as Bees in Honey Drown, 1997, which also earned her a Drama Desk nomination. 13 An Outer Critics Circle Award nomination for Outstanding Actress in a Play. 14 She was also nominated for a Drama Desk Award for Sarah, 2004. 15 Her other Broadway credits include Night Must Fall, 1999, 16 Tartuffe, 2002, 17 And After the Night and the Music, 2005. 18 She has appeared in many off-Broadway plays, including at the Public Theater, the Second Stage Theater and Playwrights Horizons. 19 She appeared in the Paul Rudnick play The Naked Truth off-Broadway at the WPA Theater in 1994. For which she received a Drama Desk Award nomination. 21 From November 1999 through April 2000, she appeared as Claire in Fuddy Mears at New York City Center, Stage 2, for which she was nominated for the Outer Critics Circle Award as Outstanding Actress in a Play. 22 In March through June 2004, she appeared in the Manhattan Theater Club off-Broadway production of Sarah. 23 In November through December 2009, she appeared off-Broadway at the Acorn Theater in her husband Kenneth Lonergan's play The Starry Messenger. 7 From October 2013 to December 2013, she starred in the off-Broadway Irish Repertory Theatre production of Juno and the Paycock as Juno Boyle. The New York Times theater critic Charles Isherwood wrote, in one of the finest performances of her distinguished career on the New York stage, Ms. Smith-Cameron imbues her Juno with a steely pragmatism, but more important an emotional pliancy that makes her more prepared than the rest of her clan to beat back the onslaughts of ill fortune that beset them. 24. Smith-Cameron later transitioned to more film and television roles to focus on her family. 25. She portrayed 7 different characters in all 3 primary shows of the Law and Order franchise. She played Janet Talbot, the mother of a death row inmate, in Sundance TV's Rectify for 4 seasons. 25. She played lawyer Jerry Kelman, a role originally written for a man, on the HBO series Succession, 2018-2023. 26. The role earned her nominations for 2 Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Drama Series. 27. In 2023 she acted in a revival of the play Love Letters opposite Victor Garber at the Irish Repertory Theatre. She acted in a limited engagement from September 19 to 24. 28. In 2024 she made her West End debut in the revival of Juno and the Paycock opposite Mark Rylance at the Gielgud Theatre. 29. Personal life. Smith-Cameron is married to playwright, screenwriter, and film director Kenneth Lonergan. They have 1 daughter, Nellie. Kenyon College, /KNJN/KenYN, is a private liberal arts college in Gambier, Ohio, United States. It was founded in 1824 by Episcopal Bishop Philander Chase. It is the oldest private institution of higher education in the state of Ohio and enrolls approximately 1,800 undergraduate students. Students can choose from over 50 majors, minors, and concentrations, including self-designed majors. The college is located on a hill overlooking the Kokosing River and neighbors Mount Vernon, Ohio. Its 1,000-acre, 400 ha, campus is set in rural surroundings that host 7 ecosystems. There are more than 120 student clubs and organizations. Kenyon athletes are called Owls and compete in the NCAA Division III North Coast Athletic Conference. 5. Kenyon College is accredited by the Higher Learning Commission. 6. History. Founding. Philander Chase, 1775-1852, was the founder and first president of Bexley Hall and Kenyon College, and later became presiding bishop of the Episcopal Church. After becoming the first Episcopal Bishop of Ohio in 1818, Philander Chase found a severe lack of trained clergy on the Ohio frontier. He sailed to England and solicited donations from George Kenyon, Lord Gambier, and the writer and philanthropist Hannah More. 7-8 The college was incorporated in December 1824. Dissatisfied with the original location of the college in Worthington, Chase purchased 8,000 acres, 3,200 ha, of land in Knox County, with the Mount Vernon lawyer Henry Curtis, and reached what he would name Gambier Hill on July 24, 1825. 9-10. The Kenyon Review. Finn House, location of the Kenyon Review. Kenyon's English department gained national recognition with the arrival of the poet and critic John Crow Ransom in 1937 as professor of poetry and first editor of the Kenyon Review, a literary journal. During his 21-year tenure, Ransom published work by writers Alan Tate, Robert Penn Warren, William Empson, Mark Van Doren, Kenneth Burke, and Delmore Schwartz, as well as younger writers Flannery O'Connor, Robert Lowell, and Peter Taylor, among others. It was an influential literary magazine during the 1940s and 1950s. 11. The Kenyon Review hosts a 2-week summer writing workshop on campus for high school students. The review sponsors an annual summer writers workshop for adults. 12. The Kenyon Review also operates the KR Associates program, allowing Kenyon students to gain experience in literary editing, publishing, and programming. Student associates work with Kenyon Review staff in manuscript evaluation, publicity and marketing, and event planning, among other creative and editorial projects. 13. Academics. Kenyon is a 4-year liberal arts college. There are 18 academic departments, 14 interdisciplinary programs, and more than 50 majors, minors, and concentrations. 14. Kenyon requires students to take classes in each of the 4 academic divisions: Fine Arts, Humanities, Natural Sciences, and Social Sciences. In addition, students must study a foreign language. Its most popular majors, by 2021 graduates, were 15 English, Economics, Psychology, Political Science, and Biology. The academic year follows a schedule of 2 4-course semesters, as well as research opportunities in the natural sciences, humanities, social sciences, and fine arts during the summer. 16. Kenyon's faculty includes over 200 full-time professors, with 99% of faculty holding a PhD or other terminal degree in their field. All courses are taught by professors, with a student-to-faculty ratio of 10:1. 17. Kenyon claims to offer more than 190 study abroad programs in 50 different countries. There is a program at the University of Exeter, 18 and 1 in Rome. 19. Kenyon's Center for the Study of American Democracy, CSAD, established in 2007, organizes conferences and seminars with the goal of promoting nonpartisan civic and political discourse. Students can join the center as associates, serving as student advisors, organizing events, and encouraging greater participation on campus in the center's programs. CSAD was funded through a grant from the National Endowment for the Humanities. 20. The Gund Gallery, a 31,000 square feet, 2,900 square meters, visual arts center and exhibition space, was opened in 2011. It hosts lectures, public programming, and exhibitions from traveling shows in its permanent collection. 21. Admissions. Ransom Hall, 1910-1912, locations of the Office of the President. Admission to Kenyon is considered most selective by U.S. News and World Report. 22. For the class of 2022, enrolling fall 2018, Kenyon received 6,152 applications, accepted 2,204, 35.8%, and enrolled 539. 23. For enrolled first-year students, the middle 50% range of SAT scores was 647.30 for critical reading and 647.40 for math, while the ACT composite range was 29.33, the average GPA was 3.94. 23. Rankings. Academic rankings. Liberal arts. U.S. News and World Report 2445. Washington Monthly 2592. National. Forbes 26140. WSJ/College Pulse 2793. In 2006, Newsweek selected Kenyon College as one of 25 new Ivies on the basis of admissions statistics as well as interviews with administrators, students, faculty members, and alumni. 28. Additionally, it was also listed in Green's list of hidden Ivies in 2000. 29 times 2018-2019 Best Colleges in America report ranked Kenyon as the 214th best college in the country. Citation needed. In the 2025 U.S. News and World Report rankings, Kenyon was tied for the No. 45th liberal arts college in the United States. 30. In the 2025 Forbes rankings, Kenyon was ranked 33rd among liberal arts colleges and 140th among 500 colleges and universities in the United States. 31. In 2022, College Simply ranked Kenyon as the second best institution of higher education in Ohio and the 61st best college or university overall. 32. Previously, Kenyon gained national recognition for LGBTQ inclusion. 33-34 It was ranked as one of the best campuses for LGBTQ students in the country in both 2020 and 2021. 35-36 It did not retain this ranking in 2022. 37. Although Kenyon is often ranked favorably, some methods that rank colleges based on their calculated return on investment, ROI, have been critical of Kenyon's value. The 2018 PayScale College ROI report ranked Kenyon as the 983rd best value college in the country. 38-39. Student media. Campus newspaper. The Kenyon Collegian is the official student newspaper of Kenyon College. Founded in 1856, the paper is staffed entirely by Kenyon College undergraduates and is published on a weekly basis. 40. Political and cultural magazines. The Kenyon Observer, founded in 1989 by David Horner and Alex Novak, began as a conservative, undergraduate political journal at Kenyon College. After the journal briefly ceased publication after the fall of 2009, it was re-established in the fall of 2011 by students Jonathan Green and Gabriel Rahm. The latest iteration of the Observer features contributions from Kenyon students of all political ideologies. 41. David Skinner, an Observer alumnus, worked as editor of Humanities. Evan McLaren, a prominent white nationalist and director of the National Policy Institute, was a major contributor to the Observer and its editor-in-chief from 2007 to 2008. 42. Paths Magazine, founded in 2024, serves the Kenyon College community as a biannual political and social sciences magazine. Paths Magazine was created after the Kenyon Observer became defunct. The organization aims to balance various political ideologies in its publications. Traditions. Aerial view of Kenyon's campus. Middle Path runs 2/3 of a mile through the campus. Kenyon is Ohio's oldest private college and has traditions which date back almost 200 years. All incoming students are expected to take the matriculation oath and sign a matriculation book. This tradition has existed at Kenyon for over a century. 43. Another tradition is the first year sing. Each year, entering first years gather on the steps of Ross Hall to sing Kenyon songs before they are officially part of the Kenyon community. On the day before commencement, seniors gather on the steps of Ross Hall to sing the same songs again. 44. Kenyon students avoid stepping on the college seal in the entrance hall of Pierce Dining Hall. Tradition holds that if someone steps on the seal, they will not graduate from the college. 45. The Church of the Holy Spirit, one of Kenyon's oldest structures, features a 10-bell set of chimes which ring the traditional Westminster quarters. The bells, installed in 1879, are rung manually in the bell tower each Friday by a campus group known as the Kenyon Peelers. 46. Whenever a new president begins their time at the college, candles are lit in every window of Old Kenyon, as a sign of welcome. Additionally, a bell hangs in the steeple of Old Kenyon and is only rung when a new president is inaugurated, as well as having been rung when the United States is no longer engaged in war and when the Kenyon football team wins a home game. Kenyon has had 25 presidents, including acting or interim appointments. Former President S. Georgia Nugent was Kenyon's first female president, and former President Sean Decatur was Kenyon's first African-American president. 47. The president's academic regalia is a purple gown with 4 velvet chevrons on each sleeve signifying the office of the president, a college seal medallion with the names of each Kenyon president on the chain links, and a purple beefeater cap. 48. The purple beefeater's cap is also worn by college trustees at ceremonies. The college's official song is The Thrill. However, Kokosing Farewell is more often sung at ceremonies. Kokosing Farewell, sung to the tune of the 1870 hymn The Day Thou Gavest, Lord, is ending, is the traditional closing number for concerts of the Kenyon College Chamber Singers. The college has maintained a tradition of formality at ceremonies. During the annual commencement ceremony, the conferring of degrees to the class and announcement of each individual student's degree of Bachelor of Arts is done entirely in Latin. Kenyon's diplomas are also written entirely in Latin. 49. Shield and Seal. The first Kenyon seal was designed no later than 1842 and contained a book, a cross, a scroll, a telescope, and a scientific apparatus surrounded by the words Sigillum Collegii Kenyonensis and Ohio RESP. Since the second and current seal was introduced, the first seal has rarely been used. Kenyon's second and current shield is derived from the coat of arms of Lord Kenyon, one of the college's first and most prominent benefactors. The shield consists of a chevron, 3 crosses, a book inscribed with the college's motto, as well as the Kenyon family's motto, Magnanimiter Crucium Sistine, valiantly bear the cross, resting upon a bishop's staff, representing the college's founder, Bishop Philander Chase. The shield has become a widely used symbol for the college. A version of the shield that replaces the book and staff with Kenyon in block letters while the chevron and crosses remain has become the symbol for the college's athletic teams. 50. In 2011, American clothier Ralph Lauren discontinued production of a necktie depicting the Kenyon shield after it was found they did not license the rights from the college. 51. The Bexley Seminary had its own shield until its dissociation from the college in 1968. While it contained the book, motto, and bishop's staff of the Kenyon shield, an eagle and ermine pattern blazoned the lower portion of the shield. 52. Kenyon's first seal. Kenyon's first seal. Flag of Kenyon College with shield. Flag of Kenyon College with shield. A flag variant used by some students. A flag variant used by some students. Coat of Arms of Lord Kenyon. Coat of Arms of Lord Kenyon. Shield of the Seminary at Bexley Hall. Shield of the Seminary at Bexley Hall. Sustainability. Kenyon College has undertaken a number of sustainability initiatives, including a recycling system upgrade, a biodiesel project, a computer lab conversion to double-sided printing, the distribution of green living guides, as well as the creation of a dining hall composting system that diverts 6,000 pounds of waste from the landfill per week. Additionally, Kenyon's cafeteria is committed to serving local food and has become a leader among college cafeterias in the country. 53 students partnered with administrators and professors to complete a campus energy audit for the past 3 years as well as a carbon footprint calculation. Kenyon Green Alumni was founded to connect graduates with a professional interest in the environment. The college received a C grade on the 2010 College Sustainability Report Card, compiled by the Sustainable Endowments Institute. 54. The Kenyon Farm is a mixed-crop livestock operation providing produce to local markets and giving students the opportunity to gain practical skills and knowledge for small-scale farming operations. 55. Ivy, which once covered some buildings on the Kenyon campus, but damages stonework, has been eradicated. 56. Athletics. See also, Lowry Center. Kenyon Athletics Shield. Kenyon's sports teams, which compete in the North Coast Athletic Conference, NCAC, were referred to as the Lords and Ladies until 2022 when a new nickname, the Owls, was adopted. At various points in the past, the teams were also known as the Mauve, the Purple and White, the Hilltoppers, and simply as Kenyon. 57-58. The men's swim team, in NCAA Division III, claims to have won, from 1980 through 2010, a record 31 consecutive NCAA national championships as well as consecutive titles between 2012 and 2015 for a total of 34 program titles. The women's swim team has won 24 non-consecutive titles of their own since 1984, the most recent being in 2022. 59. Lowry Center, Kenyon's main sports facility. In 2006, Kenyon opened the Kenyon Athletics Center, currently, Lowry Center, a 263,000 square foot, 24,400 square meters, building. The building was named after William E. Lowry Jr., who served on Kenyon's Board of Trustees for more than 30 years. Lowry also captained the football, baseball, and basketball teams and presided the student body. 60. Football, field hockey, and lacrosse are played at McBride Field, which has a seating capacity of 1,762. 61. In 2019, Kenyon was one of the first National Collegiate Athletic Association, NCAA, member colleges to participate in the organization's LGBTQ1 team program, which launched in fall 2019. 62. Notable alumni. This section may contain excessive or irrelevant examples. Please help improve it by removing less pertinent examples and elaborating on existing ones. June 2025. Learn how and when to remove this message. This article's list of alumni may not follow Wikipedia's verifiability policy. Please improve this article by removing names that do not have independent reliable sources showing they merit inclusion in this article and are alumni, or by incorporating the relevant publications into the body of the article through appropriate citations. August 2017. Main article, List of Kenyon College people. Notable alumni of Kenyon College include U.S. Supreme Court Justices David Davis, 1832, Stanley Matthews, 1840, and William Rehnquist, attended, 1946. U.S. Secretary of War Edwin M. Stanton, 1834. Abolitionist and women's rights activist John Kelly Virgos Zachos, 1840. U.S. President Rutherford B. Hayes, 1842. Poet Robert Lowell, 1940. Writer Peter Taylor, 1940. Novelist William H. Gass, 1947. Swedish Prime Minister Olof Palme, 1948. Actor Paul Newman, 1949, 63. Comedian Jonathan Winters, attended, 1950. Novelist E.L. Dr. Rowe, 1952. Poet James Arlington Wright, 1952. Molecular biologist Harvey Lodish, 1962-64. Architect Graham Gund, 1963. Cartoonist Jim Borgman, 1976. Matthew Winkler, journalist, 1977. Professor of Law Amos N. Guira, 1979. Cartoonist Bill Watterson, 1980. Author Donovan Webster, 1981. Actor Allison Janney, 1982. U.S. Congressman Zach Space, 1983. Author Laura Hillenbrand, 1989. U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine Bridget A. Brink, 1991. Football coach Chris Creighton, 1991. Author Jenna Bloom, 1992. Politician Leopoldo Lopez, 1993-65. Actor and filmmaker Josh Radnor, 1996. U.S. Congresswoman Lizzie Pannill Fletcher, 1997. Lawyer and climate activist Colette P. Sean Battle, 1997-66. Basketball coach Shaka Smart, 1999. Author John Green, 2000. Legal scholar Aaron Przanowski, 2001. Author and filmmaker Ransom Riggs, 2001, 67. Political strategist Sarah Longwell, 2002. Entrepreneur Jewel James Monsees, 2002. U.S. National Security Council spokesperson Tommy Vietor, 2002. Astrophysicist and artist Nia Imara, 2003, 68. Entrepreneur and media executive Matthew Siegel, 2008. Musician Nicholas Petrixa, 2009. Musician Evan Stevens Hall, 2011. Musician Justin Roberts, 1992-69. Media executive Hugh Forrest, 1984. Screenwriter and playwright Will Arbery, 2011. John Michael Green, born August 24, 1977, is an American author and YouTuber. His books have more than 50 million copies in print worldwide, including The Fault in Our Stars, 2012, which is one of the best-selling books of all time. Green's rapid rise to fame and idiosyncratic voice are credited with creating a major shift in the young adult fiction market. Green is also well known for his work in online video, most notably his YouTube ventures with his younger brother Hank Green. Born in Indianapolis, Indiana, Green was raised in Orlando, Florida, before attending boarding school outside of Birmingham, Alabama. He attended Kenyon College, graduating with a double major in English and Religious Studies in 2000. Green then spent 6 months as a student chaplain at a children's hospital. He reconsidered his path and began working at Booklist in Chicago while writing his first novel. His debut novel Looking for Alaska, 2005, was awarded the 2006 Michael L. Prince Award. While living in New York City, Green published his second novel, An Abundance of Catherines, 2006. Starting on January 1, 2007, John and his brother Hank launched the Vlogbrothers YouTube channel, a series of vlogs submitted to one another on alternating weekdays. The videos spawned an active online-based community called Nerdfighteria and an annual telethon-style fundraiser called Project for Awesome, both of which have persisted and grown over time. John moved back to Indianapolis in 2007, and published 3 novels over the next 3 years, Let It Snow, 3 Holiday Romances, 2008, with Maureen Johnson and Lauren Miracle, his third solo novel, Paper Towns, 2008, and Will Grayson, 2010, with David Levi then. From 2010 to 2013, John and Hank launched several online video projects, including VidCon, an annual conference for the online video community, and Crash Course, 2011-present, a wide-ranging educational channel. Green's 2012 novel, The Fault in Our Stars, and the 2014 film Adaptation were massive commercial and critical successes, leading to several other film and television adaptations of his work. He was included in Time magazine's 2014 list of the 100 most influential people in the world. Green's subsequent projects, his novel Turtles All the Way Down, 2017, and the Anthroposine Reviewed, 2018-2021, dealt more directly with his anxiety and obsessive-compulsive disorder. The Anthroposine Reviewed began as a podcast in January 2018, with Green reviewing different facets of the Anthropocene on a 5-star scale. He adapted the podcast into his first non-fiction book in 2021. Since the mid-2010s, John Green has been a prominent advocate for global health causes. He is a trustee for Partners in Health, PIH, supporting their goal of reducing maternal mortality in Sierra Leone, and has worked with PIH and a number of organizations in fighting tuberculosis worldwide. Green's second non-fiction book, Everything is Tuberculosis, was released in March 2025. Early life and education. John Michael Green was born on August 24, 1977, in Indianapolis, Indiana 1234 to Mike and Sydney Green. 5 Within 2 months of his birth, his family moved to Michigan, then later Birmingham, Alabama, and finally to Orlando, Florida. 673 There he attended Glenridge Middle School and Lake Highland Preparatory School. 89 Green's father worked as the executive director of the Nature Conservancy of Florida, and his mother, after being a stay-at-home mother, worked for a non-profit called the Healthy Community Initiative. 10-5 When he was 15, he started attending Indian Springs School outside of Birmingham, Alabama, graduating in 1995. 11-12-13 While attending the preparatory school, Green became good friends with Daniel Alarcon, who would go on to become an author as well. 5-10 Green's future wife Sarah Urist also attended Indian Springs at the same time as Green, though they did not become friends until they became reacquainted in the early 2000s. 14-15 Green has characterized his upbringing by saying that although he had a happy childhood, he was not always a happy child. 16 Green has struggled with severe anxiety and obsessive-compulsive disorder his whole life. 5-17-18 He has also spoken about being bullied during high school and how it made life as a teenager miserable for him. 8-5 Green enrolled at Kenyon College in Gambier, Ohio, in 1995, graduating with a double major in English and Religious Studies in 2000. 5-12-19 While attending the school, he befriended and was in a comedy troupe with Ransom Riggs. 2021 After graduation, Green spent about half a year working as a student chaplain at Nationwide Children's Hospital in Columbus, Ohio, while enrolled at the University of Chicago Divinity School, although he never actually attended the school. 12/22/23 he intended to become an Episcopal priest, but the traumatic experiences of working in a hospital with children suffering from life-threatening illnesses and injuries made him reconsider his path. Parts of his experience inspired him to become an author, and later to write The Fault in Our Stars. 10/24/23 After his time as a chaplain, Green moved to Chicago where he briefly continued performing with his college comedy troupe. 8/10 Career. Early career in novels, 2001-2006. Booklist magazine and Looking for Alaska. In 2001, Green was hired as an editorial assistant at the book review journal Booklist, later becoming a production editor. 25/26/3 Whilst there he reviewed hundreds of books, particularly on literary fiction, Islam, and conjoined twins. 27 He also wrote radio essays for NPR's All Things Considered and Chicago's public radio station WBEZ. 25/27 He wrote essays for WBEZ after beginning an email correspondence with Amy Krauss Rosenthal, who became a close friend and mentor. 28 While working at Booklist, Green met author Eileen Cooper, whose example persuaded him he could write a novel, saying, "I saw that real people like Eileen wrote books, they weren't written in ivory towers." 26 Cooper invited Green to lunch to discuss his future. She set a deadline for Green to present her with a draft of his first book, which Green failed to present to her twice over. 29 Near the end of 2001, Green suffered from a mental health crisis so severe he could not eat, and instead drank only 2-liter bottles of Sprite. He lived with his parents for a brief time while seeing a psychiatrist and going on medication. 17/29 When he returned to Chicago, he began writing Looking for Alaska. 17 Green wrote the novel divided into before and after the character Alaska's death, with chapters denoted through the number of days before or after the death. The structure was partially inspired by Green's reaction to the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001, months prior, and its status as a dividing line in history and in people's lives. 30. Green presented the first draft to Cooper, who served as a mentor through the following 2 versions. Cooper sent the third draft to Dutton Children's Books in early 2003, who awarded Green with a publishing contract and a small 4-figure book deal. 10/29/26/17 Looking for Alaska was assigned to editor Julie Strauss Gable, which began their collaboration that has persisted through all of Green's books. 26/31/29 In a 2015 interview with the New York Times, Green reflected, "In a publishing world that maybe doesn't have as many long-term relationships as it used to, she invested a lot of time in me before I ever earned a profit. I've never written a book without Julie. I wouldn't know how to do it." 31. Looking for Alaska was published in March 2005. 32. The novel is a coming-of-age school story and teen romance about a boarding school student who gets bullied, partially inspired by Green's experiences at Indian Springs, Alabama, fictionalized as Culver Creek Preparatory High School. 10/19/33-34 The novel was well received critically, but saw only modest sales at first. 5/26 The novel was awarded the annual Michael L. Prince Award by the American Library Association, ALA, recognizing the year's best book written for teens, based entirely on its literary merit. 5/26/35 Receiving the award caused book sales to rapidly rise, with Green describing his reaction upon hearing he had won the award as, "Probably the purest moment of joy I've experienced. Even when my children were born it wasn't as raw and surprising." 26 It also appeared on the ALA's annual Top 10 Best Books for Young Adults and appeared on the New York Times bestseller list 7 years later during a surge in Green's popularity after the release of The Fault in Our Stars. 26/36 Green left his job at Booklist after receiving the Prince Award. 5/37 An Abundance of Catherines. Green moved to the Upper West Side in New York City in 2005 while his then-fiancée Sarah Urist attended graduate school at Columbia University. 29/8/538 He worked at Mental Floss magazine while he continued his second novel, having already finished a first draft while living in Chicago. 839 He co-authored several mental floss gift books while there, including Cocktail Party Cheat Sheets, What's the Difference? And Scatterbrained. 404142 He also critiqued books for the New York Times Book Review. 274344 His second novel, An Abundance of Catherines, was released in September 2006. 451246 Set in Chicago, the novel is about an extremely intelligent but depressed 17-year-old boy who is constantly dating, and being dumped by, girls named Catherine. 474648 Reviewers noted that the book's tone was significantly more comedic and light than Looking for Alaska. 12 It was runner-up for the Prince Award. 46 and a finalist for the Los Angeles Times Book Prize. 49 Green began writing his third solo novel while still living in New York. 512 Online and Literary Collaborations, 2007-2011. Paper Towns in Collaborative Works. Refer to caption. Green at the Loft Literary Center, Minneapolis, in 2008. Green moved back to Indianapolis in June 2007 when Sarah began a position as a curator of contemporary art at the Indianapolis Museum of Art. 505138 In an interview in October 2007, Green mentioned that his next solo novel's working title was Paper Towns. 52. Green's next novel was a collaboration with fellow young adult authors Maureen Johnson and Lauren Miracle titled Let It Snow, 3 Holiday Romances, released in September 2008. The book consists of 3 interconnected short stories, including Green's H-yeartistic Christmas Miracle, with each set in the same small town on Christmas Eve during a massive snowstorm. 5354 In November 2009, the book reached number 10 on the New York Times bestseller list for paperback children's books. 55. Green's third solo novel, Paper Towns, was released in October 2008. Set in the suburbs of Orlando, Florida, the book is about the coming-of-age of the protagonist, Quentin Q. Jacobson, and his search for Margot Roth Spiegelman, his neighbor and childhood sweetheart. 5657 The story has often been described as a deconstruction of the Manic Pixie Dream Girl trope, including by Green himself. 5859 It debuted at number 5 on the New York Times bestseller list for children's books. 60 Paper Towns was awarded the 2009 Edgar Allan Poe Award for Best Young Adult Novel and the 2010 Corine Literature Prize. 61 62 63 After this, Green and fellow young adult writer David Levi then collaborated on the novel Will Grayson, which was published by Dutton in April 2010. 64 65 66 Set in the suburbs of Chicago, the book's narrative is divided evenly between 2 boys named Will Grayson. Green wrote the odd chapters on the Will Grayson who is straight, and Levi then wrote the even chapters on the Will Grayson who is gay. 4866 The novel debuted on the New York Times children's bestseller list after its release and remained there for 3 weeks. It was the first LGBT-themed young adult novel to make it to the list. 4866-67 It was a runner-up for 2 of the annual ALA Awards, the Stonewall Book Award for Excellence in LGBT Children's and Young Adult Literature 68 and the Odyssey Award for Excellence in Audiobook Production. 6970 Online Video Beginnings. From Left to Right, the Vlogbrothers in 2008 and Esther Earl, with Hank and Earl performing the Nerd Fighter Salute. In 2007, John and his brother Hank began a video blog project called Brotherhood 2.0 which ran from January 1st to December 31st of that year and was published to their YouTube channel Vlogbrothers. The two agreed that they would forego all text-based communication for the project's duration and instead maintain their relationship by exchanging these vlogs. Each submitted one to the other on alternating weekdays. 71 72 73 The brothers gained a large following during the early years of YouTube, especially after Hank's video Oxyo Deathly Hallows was featured on the front page of YouTube. 71 In what would have been the project's final video, the brothers revealed that they would extend their video correspondence indefinitely. 74 As of August 2024, they have continued exchanging their vlogs and the channel has over 3.7 million subscribers and 1 billion views. 75. Since the project's inception, the duo has gained a wide-reaching international fanbase whose members identify collectively as nerd fighters. 76-71 One prominent early nerd fighter was Esther Earl, who developed a bond with the Green brothers and the nerd fighter community before she died in 2010 at the age of 16 to thyroid cancer. 5-10-77 Green and the nerd fighteria community continue to celebrate Esther Day each year on August 3rd, and support the non-profit foundation This Star Won't Go Out, founded by Esther's parents Wayne and Lori Earl. 5-77-78-79 Green wrote the introduction to Earl's biography and has stated that Earl was an inspiration for the main character Hazel in The Fault in Our Stars. 5-80-81-82 The group, in collaboration with the two brothers, promote and participate in several other humanitarian efforts and community events, including loaning more than $4 million through Kiva.org, as well as the Project for Awesome, P4A. 76-71 The Project for Awesome is an annual telethon-style fundraiser began in 2007. The event includes a 48-hour live stream in which charities are voted on by the community while supporters pledge money and receive donated perks, such as artwork or digital content. 83-84 The live stream is hosted by the Greens and other YouTube personalities, including Destin Sandlin and Phil Plait. 84 The event has continued annually, gaining support and higher donations over time, raising over $3 million in 2023, 85, 86, 84, 87 and over $3.5 million in 2024. 88. Hank Green and Alan Lastufka CEO founded DT Records, an initialism for Don't Forget to Be Awesome, in 2008, with John Green later becoming a CEO owner. 89-90 Originally a record label, its main focus was music generated by prominent YouTube stars. 89-91 The company now focuses on selling merchandise. 90-92-93 John and Hank Green at VidCon 2012. In 2010, the brothers launched VidCon as a conference for the online video community. 94-95 The Greens created the conference in response to the growing YouTube community. Hank stated, "We wanted to get as much of the online video community together, in one place, in the real world for a weekend. It's a celebration of the community, with performances, concerts, and parties, but it's also a discussion of the explosion in community-based online video." 96 The event drew many popular YouTubers, as well as their fans, and provided room for the community to interact. The event also contained an industry conference for people and businesses working in the online video field. 95 The convention was a success, leading to it becoming an annual event that was acquired by Viacom in 2018. 94-97-95 Breakout success, 2012-2016. The Fault in Our Stars and Adaptations. Green had announced in August 2009 he was writing a new book titled The Sequel. 98 The work was later scrapped, with parts integrated into his next book, The Fault in Our Stars, released on January 10, 2012. 48-99 100 Green's fourth solo novel. The story is about Hazel, a 16-year-old girl living in Indianapolis, Indiana, who has thyroid cancer. She is forced by her parents to attend a support group where she meets and falls in love with 17-year-old Augustus Waters, an ex-basketball player, amputee, and survivor of osteosarcoma. 101 102 103 Green was inspired by his friendship with Esther Earl, as well as his time working as a student chaplain in a children's hospital. 104 1081 105 In an interview with The Atlantic in 2013, he stated, "The kids I met while working as a student chaplain were funny and bright and angry and dark and just as human as anybody else. And I really wanted to try to capture that. I felt that the stories that I was reading sort of oversimplified and sometimes even dehumanized them. I wanted to argue for their humanity, their complete humanity." 105 He crafted the novel in collaboration with his longtime editor Julie Strauss Gable. 106 Green signed all 150,000 copies of the first printing. 5 107. A tour van decorated for the Fault in Our Stars book tour in 2012. The Fault in Our Stars was massively successful, creating a passionate fan base of readers. 10 108 6 months before the release of the book, before it had even been finished, online pre-orders led to the book being a #1 seller on Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble. 10 109 After release, the book debuted at #1 on the New York Times bestseller list for children's chapter books. It went on to spend 43 total weeks at the #1 spot and over 2 years in the top 10. 511 110. Green himself also saw a significant increase in his fame, with the Indianapolis Business Journal noting that he had much more visibility and presence in his fans' lives than other contemporaneous authors with equal or greater book sales. 109 Upon the book's release, Green began a 17-city book tour, visiting largely sold-out venues across the country. 111 On the first anniversary of its release, John and his brother Hank performed a sold-out show at Carnegie Hall's Isaac Stern Auditorium in New York City, which also featured appearances from Neil Gaiman and the Mountain Goats. 112 11 Green appeared on The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson in March 2013. Green stated his anxiety leading up to the television interview prevented him from getting work done for weeks before. 113. In late 2013, Green stated that he was writing a new book with the working title The Racket. 114 He sold 5,000 words of a rough draft of the work during that year's project for Awesome. 115 That same year, Green hired longtime nerd fighter Rosianna House Rojas as his executive assistant. 113. Green at VidCon in 2014. A film adaptation of The Fault in Our Stars was greenlit within 3 weeks of the book's release. 108 Green had initially been hesitant to sell the movie rights for the book, saying, "I'd had some unhappy experiences before, and I didn't want a movie I didn't like being made from a book that's so important to me. This book frankly is more important to me than my other books." 116 To that end, Green was involved in the movie's pre-production, and was on set for most of the film's shooting. 117 The Hollywood Reporter stated in May 2014 that even before the movie's release, its expected success was causing a shift in the types of films being made for teenagers, with Poya Shabachan, the producer of the dystopian science fiction film Divergent, stating, "I've already had calls from studio execs who want to be on the list for small, intimate stories that previously would have been impossible to sell to their senior execs. Who would have believed a small budget, yet teenage cancer love story would have rival studio execs calling it a potential event movie?" Additionally, the magazine reported that the film studio behind the movie, Fox 2000, would consider anything over $125 million in box office earnings a huge success. 118. On June 6, 2014, The Fault in Our Stars film was released, the first adaptation of one of Green's novels. 119 The film was massively successful, opening #1 at the box office during its opening weekend and grossing $307 million worldwide against a budget of $12 million. 120 Green filmed a cameo role for the movie that was not included in the final cut of the film. 121 The profound success of the book and the movie further launched Green into mainstream culture, an experience he found emotionally fraught. 10 Green appeared on The Colbert Report to promote the movie's release in June 2014. 123 Green was included in Time magazine's 2014 Time 100 list of the 100 most influential people in the world. 124 The trade paperback version of The Fault in Our Stars was the top-selling novel of the year on Publishers Weekly's annual list. 125. Just over a year after the first film's release, an adaptation of Paper Towns was released, starring Cara Delevingne and Nat Wolff. 126 Green served as an executive producer for the movie and entered into a first-look production deal with the studio behind the film, Fox 2000, alongside his now producing partner Rojas. 127-128 In 2016, Green announced that Fox 2000 would be making a movie about the formation of AFC Wimbledon, a soccer team that he supports, and he would serve as a producer. 129 130 131 As of 2022, the movie has not been produced. 132. Focus on educational content. As part of the platform's YouTube Original Channel initiative, YouTube approached John and Hank with an opportunity to start a Google-funded channel. YouTube gave the brothers $450,000, which they used to launch the Crash Course YouTube channel. 104 133 134 The channel was launched in January 2012, with the first episode of its World History series hosted by John Green. 135 The channel has since grown to 44 series covering topics including history, literature, and science. All of the content is available for free and many follow the curricula for the Advanced Placement program. 10.5 John has hosted several of the series, including the first on world history, which he co-wrote with his high school history teacher, Raoul Meyer. 136 510. After 2 years of producing Crash Course and Hank's science-related channel SciShow through the grants provided by YouTube, the Green brothers sought a more sustainable way to fund the projects. In 2013, they launched Subbable, a subscription-based crowdfunding platform that would enable donators to pledge a monthly sum to creators and receive perks in exchange. 137 138 139 Among the platform's creators and channels were the Green brothers Crash Course and SciShow, and YouTuber CGP Grey, Minute Physics and Wheezy Waiter. 140 137 The platform went on to be acquired by fellow subscription-based crowdfunding platform Patreon in March 2015. Patreon added Subbable's creators into its fold and the Green brothers became advisors at Patreon. 141 138 137. John Green sporting a mustache during Pizzamas in 2020. Starting in 2012 and 2013, John and Hank began celebrating an event called Pizzamas in which they sold merchandise, including t-shirts, of Pizza John, a white outlined image of John sporting a thick mustache, originating from a 2009 Vlogbrothers video that then became a popular meme in the Nerdfighteria community. 142 Starting in 2014, John and Hank began uploading videos to Vlogbrothers every weekday for 2 weeks during Pizzamas, and began selling more varied merchandise, including fan art of Pizza John printed on blankets, tote bags, and pizza-scented air fresheners. All the proceeds are donated to various charities, including Partners in Health. 142. From 2013 to 2018, Green was one of the hosts of the YouTube channel for the magazine Mental Floss, for whom he had worked when in New York. 143 Green presented the list show in which he listed off interesting facts centered on one particular subject. 40 These episodes were directed by Mark Olson and produced by John and Hank Green and Stan Muller. A new format, titled Scatterbrained, named after one of the books he had written for Mental Floss, was introduced on the channel in 2018. Green was joined by multiple hosts on a single episode each week, which tackled one topic from multiple angles. 144 145 146 In 2019, Mental Floss brought its YouTube production in-house and ceased using Green as a host. 147. On February 20, 2014, Sarah Urist Green launched The Art Assignment, a PBS and Complexly video series. 148 149 John served as an executive producer for the series. 150 151 In September 2019, Sarah Urist Green, in collaboration with John and the Poetry Foundation, launched the YouTube channel Ars Poetica. 152 153. In June 2015, John Green and his brother Hank started a weekly podcast titled Dear Hank and John. 154 Taking a mainly humorous tone, Each podcast consists of the brothers reading a series of questions submitted by listeners and offering their dubious advice. The podcast closes with a news segment with 2 standard topics: Mars, presented by Hank, and AFC Wimbledon, presented by John. 154 155 6 156. EcoGeek LLC, a company founded by Hank Green to support his blog on environmental and science issues in the early 2000s, was renamed to Complexly in 2016. 157-158 Complexly became the umbrella video and audio production company which produces and manages most of the Green Brothers YouTube shows, as well as a number of other shows, podcasts, and projects. 159-160 John serves as the co-founder and strategic advisor for the company. 161 Appearances. Green gave commencement speeches at Butler University in 2013 and at his alma mater Kenyon College in May 2016. Both universities conferred honorary doctorates of letters on him. 162, 163, 164, 165, 166. A video by John Green documenting his experience at the World Economic Forum, originally posted on Vlogbrothers. In January 2016, Green was named to the Forum of Young Global Leaders by the World Economic Forum, WEF. He attended the annual meeting of the WEF in Davos, Switzerland that year. 167 In February 2016, Green visited Jordan to meet with Syrian refugees with the United Nations Human Rights Council, UNRWA. Green has often acted as an advocate for refugees, stating that, "For those of you who share my faith, Jesus is awfully unambiguous about the poor, shelterless, and imprisoned." 168, 169, 170. Established author and internet personality, 2017-2022. Turtles All the Way Down. John and Hank Green and their tour bus during the 2017 book tour for Turtles All the Way Down. In November 2014, amidst the intense success of The Fault in Our Stars, Green wrote on his Tumblr page that he was not working on his previously announced next project, The Racket, anymore, but was working on something else with a different title. 171-172 In September 2015, Green announced that he would be taking a break from social media to focus on writing his next book. 173 Around this time, Green experienced a period of severe anxiety, partly due to the perceived burden to follow up the massive success of The Fault in Our Stars. He worried he might never write another book. 174 He stopped taking his prescribed medications hoping to reinvigorate his creativity, and his mental health suffered, with him later describing the experience saying, "I can't think straight, I can only think in swirls and scribbles." After he recovered in late 2015, he began writing Turtles All the Way Down. 17. In August 2016, Green stated that over the next 10 months he would be limiting his public appearances in order to finish a draft of the new book. 175 But on September 20th, Green took to his YouTube channel to say that he may never publish another book, citing his current writing experience as, "This intense pressure, like people were watching over my shoulder while I was writing." 174-176 He eventually submitted a draft to his editor Strauss Gable, and they worked on the book together for another year. 17. On June 22, 2017, it was announced that Green's 5th solo novel would be titled Turtles All the Way Down. It was released on October 10, 2017 177 and debuted at number 1 on the New York Times bestseller list. 178 The story centers on 16-year-old Ozza Holmes, an Indianapolis high school student with obsessive-compulsive disorder and anxiety, and her search for a fugitive billionaire as she begins a relationship with that billionaire's son. 179 180 174 Speaking about the novel, Green said, "This is my first attempt to write directly about the kind of mental illness that has affected my life since childhood, so while the story is fictional, it is also quite personal." 181.17. Like his previous books, Green signed the first 200,000 copies of the book, as part of the initial run of 1.5 million copies. 182. Upon the release of his book, he and his brother Hank went on a book tour. 183-184. In May 2018, Green was interviewed by then quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts, Andrew Luck, after Turtles All the Way Down was named a selection for the Andrew Luck Book Club. They discussed the book and their relationships with anxiety and stress for the event that promoted the PBS series The Great American Read. 185. The Anthroposine Reviewed. The words Anthroposine Reviewed. Logo for the podcast The Anthroposine Reviewed. Auld Lang Syne The Anthroposine Reviewed. Duration, 21 minutes and 28 seconds. 21:28. The 23rd episode of the podcast, reviewing Auld Lang Syne. Problems playing this file? See Media Help. In January 2018, Green launched the Anthroposine Reviewed, a solo podcast where he reviews different facets of the Anthropocene, the epoch that includes significant human impact on the environment, on a 5-star scale. This can include completely artificial products like Diet Dr. Pepper, natural species that have had their fates altered by human influence like the Canada goose, or phenomena that only influence humanity such as Halley's Comet. Episodes typically contained Green reviewing 2 topics, accompanied by stories on how they have impacted his life. 183-186. At the end of 2018, the Green brothers partnered with WNYC Studios to bring all of their podcasts, including the Anthroposine Reviewed, to the distributor. 154. Green adapted the essays into a book, The Anthroposine Reviewed, Essays on a Human-Centered Planet, which was published by Dutton Penguin on May 18, 2021. The book was Green's first non-fiction book and 6th solo publication. 183.7. The book received positive reviews and debuted at number 1 on the New York Times bestseller list. 187, 188, 189. The book featured revised versions of many of the essays from the podcast, as well as new original essays, ordered chronologically through Green's life to give the book the approximate structure of a memoir. 190, 191, 192. Green wrote about living through the COVID-19 pandemic in many of the essays. 193, 194. As he had done with many of his previous books, Green signed all 250,000 tip-in sheets of the first printing for the United States and Canada. He wrote a review of the experience on the final signed page. 195. This review was later revised and expanded on for an episode of the podcast released on the same day as the book. 196. Green subsequently ended the podcast in August 2021 after 36 episodes. 197, 198. In May 2021, Green hosted a virtual book tour for the Anthroposine Reviewed, with guests Clint Smith, Latif Nasser, Sarah Urist Green, Hank Green, and Ashley C. Ford making appearances at the various shows. 199. In April 2022, the Anthroposine Reviewed was chosen to be the 2022 Common Read at the University of Mississippi. 200. Green gave a keynote address at the university's annual fall convocation. 201, 202. Further adaptations. John Green with the cast of Looking for Alaska, left to write Christine Frozeth, Charlie Plummer, Jay Lee, and Denny Love, on Vlogbrothers in 2019. Green had sold the film the rights for Looking for Alaska in 2005 to Paramount, which hired Josh Schwartz as writer and director. However, after 5 years with no progress on the project, Green told fans that, while he desperately loved the screenplay, there seemed to be little interest at Paramount. 203, 204. In 2012, the book reached the New York Times bestseller list for children's paperbacks. 205. Finally, in May 2018, it was announced that Looking for Alaska would be made into a Hulu series with Schwartz and others on board. 206. The casting was announced in October 2018. 207 Looking for Alaska was released to Hulu on October 18, 2019. 208 The series was critically well received, with Catherine Van Arendonk of Vulture calling it a rare adaptation that dismantles the original in order to build something that works better. 209 210 211 In 2017, Green authorized a stage play adaptation of The Fault in Our Stars. The play was written by theater director Tobin Strader of Brebeuf Jesuit Preparatory School in Indianapolis and 4 students at the high school. It was performed in 2019. 212 In 2019, Let It Snow was adapted into a film of the same name by Netflix. 213 214 On Metacritic, it has a weighted average score of 51 out of 100, based on reviews from 5 critics, indicating mixed or average reviews. 215 In August 2014, India's Fox Star Studios announced it would adapt The Fault in Our Stars into an Indian Hindi language film, with the working title of Kizi Aur Mani. 216 The adaptation ages up the characters and changes the main setting to India. The title of the movie was later changed to Dil Bikara, The Helpless Heart, and is named after one of the original songs written for the movie. Music composer A.R. Rahman composed the background music and songs of the movie. 217 218 219 The film was scheduled to be released on May 8, 2020, after having been initially scheduled in November 2019, but was later postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic in India. It was released on July 24, 2020, on Disney and Hotstar and was met with mainly positive reviews. 220 The 2020 Chinese film A Little Red Flower has been noted for having significant similarities to The Fault in Our Stars, which was never theatrically released in China. 221 222 A Chinese remake of The Fault in Our Stars had been in development by Fox International Productions in 2016. In 2018, a notice was released by the China Film Administration for a project with a similar premise and the same writers and producers to the original remake, and in 2020, A Little Red Flower was released with no credit given to Fox. 222 223 Partners in Health. Since the mid-2010s, John and Hank Green and their families have supported the international public health nonprofit Partners in Health, PIH. Beginning with the annual Project for Awesome fundraiser in 2013, Partners in Health received $50,000 as one of the community-chosen charities. The charity was first selected as one of the designated charities the following year, meaning Green and the other organizers had chosen for it to receive a large portion of the funds raised, totaling $291,000. It was again selected as a designated charity in 2016 before becoming a permanent designated charity in every iteration of the fundraiser since 2018. 224 225 226 84 In October 2018, Green founded the Life's Library Book Club with Rosiana House Rojas. 227 228 The book club read a book approximately every 6 weeks, with online discussion occurring on the Life's Library Discord. Green and Rojas alternated choosing books, with guest curators occasionally making selections. 228 227 Life's Library was free to participate in, with paid options available to receive digital or physical subscriptions, containing additional materials such as a discussion podcast, or a version of the book itself. All profits from Life's Library were donated to Partners in Health Sierra Leone. 228 227 The Life's Library project ended in March 2022. 229 John Green in the Kissy Psychiatric Hospital, now known as Sierra Leone Psychiatric Hospital, in Freetown, Sierra Leone, in April 2019. John and Sarah Eurist Green visited Sierra Leone in April 2019 after John was inspired by a December 2017 profile in The New Yorker on PIH co-founder Ophelia Dahl. 230 231 232 In October 2019, Green announced that he, Hank, and their families would be donating $6.5 million to Sierra Leone's branch of Partners in Health, as part of an initiative to raise $25 million over the following 5 years. The goal of the initiative is to help fight maternal mortality, specifically in the country's Kono district, where the money will be used to staff and support the Maternal Center of Excellence, among other primary care centers and health workers. 231 The Maternal Center of Excellence broke ground in April 2021, with a planned opening in 2023. 233. In August 2019, John and Hank performed live versions of their own podcasts on stage, with John presenting a new episode of the Anthroposine Reviewed, as well as a live episode of their shared podcast Dear Hank and John, with all profits going to Partners in Health. 234 The live performances returned in March 2020 with a planned 3-city tour including stops in Columbus, Ohio, and Carmel, Indiana, with the third performance set for Ann Arbor, Michigan. However, the third performance was cancelled due to the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic in the United States. 234 235 In September 2021, Green continued his advocacy for refugees, writing an op-ed in The Independent on the need for education for refugee children. 170. After receiving $429,000 from the Project for Awesome in 2021 and over $100,000 from that year's Pizzamas, Partners in Health received over $1 million during the 2022 Project for Awesome. 142 224 84 The week prior to the 2022 Project for Awesome, Partners in Health co-founder Paul Farmer unexpectedly died at the age of 62. Green wrote a tribute to Farmer for the Washington Post. 84 236. Subscription services. In November 2020, John and Hank started the Awesome Socks Club, a monthly subscription service where members receive a pair of socks designed by independent artists. All post-tax profits are donated to the charity, in a business model similar to Newman's own products. 159 As of October 2022, the Awesome Socks Club had over 40,000 members. 159 237 In March 2022, the brothers started the Awesome Coffee Club, with an identical business model and goal to the Awesome Socks Club. 237 The coffee is ethically sourced from Colombia via the brothers' sourcing partner Socafina. 233 In August 2022, Hank Green reported that the Awesome Socks Club had over 40,000 subscribers and the Awesome Coffee Club had over 10,000 subscribers. 159 A third subscription, called Sun Basin Soap, was announced in April 2023. 238 These products were brought under the common branding and website of Good.store in August 2023. 239. Appearances and other projects. On January 1, 2017, Green began a YouTube series titled 100 Days in collaboration with his friend Chris Waters. The pair endeavored to get fit and establish healthy habits, while avoiding emphasis on weight loss. 241 Near the end of the effort, Green fundraised for a 10K charity run for Exodus Refugee Immigration, an Indianapolis-based refugee resettlement organization. 1. At the end of 2018, John Green chose to leave social media for a year, including Twitter, where he had more than 5 million followers. 242 243 In January 2019, Green wrote an op-ed for the Washington Post on his decision, saying, "I had noticed over the past couple of years that my attention had become more fractured. I found it harder to lose myself in a book, for instance, without feeling the urge to check my phone or open my laptop." 244 Green created a TikTok account in 2020, which has over 2 million followers and 48 million views as of October 2022. 245 246 247 248 In December 2022, Green left Twitter in response to the policy changes made after Elon Musk's acquisition of Twitter. 249. Green is a frequent lecturer and moderated discussion host. In March 2019, Green moderated a discussion with former First Lady Michelle Obama on her memoir Becoming as part of a YouTube-sponsored event titled BookTube 250. In April 2019, Green recorded a live version of the podcast Harry Potter and the Sacred Text at the Indianapolis Central Public Library. 251. Green gave a virtual commencement address to all graduates in May 2020 during the beginning months of the COVID-19 pandemic. 165. In October 2022, Green gave the opening lecture at Harvard University's 2022 William Belden Noble Lecture Series, titled How the World Ends. 252. 253. Focus on Global Health, 2022 present. Anti-tuberculosis advocacy. Green became a member of the Board of Trustees for Partners in Health in 2022. 254. 255. 256. In mid-2023, Green was a leading figure in a successful campaign to persuade pharmaceutical company Johnson & Johnson, J&J, to allow generic versions of the tuberculosis drug bedaquiline to be produced, allowing increased global access to the drug. 257. In May, Green published an op-ed in the Washington Post on the subject. 258. A deal with the Stop TB partnership was formed after J&J's evergreening of the patent received public backlash from an awareness campaign started by Green in June. J&J stated they had decided to allow generics to be produced the month prior. 259. 260. 261. 262. 2 months later, Green urged Cepheid, an American molecular diagnostics company owned by Danaher Corporation, to lower the cost of the cartridges used in their GeneXpert machines to $5, hoping to save lives by giving more people access to early detection of tuberculosis. 263. 260. The pressure campaign was again partially successful, with Danaher reducing the price of one of the most critical tests by 1/5 and committing to make no profit on the sale of that test to lower and middle-income countries. 264. On September 22, 2023, Green attended, and briefly spoke at, a high-level United Nations meeting on tuberculosis. 265. In March 2024, the Green brothers announced that they and their families were pledging $1 million a year through 2027 alongside $10 million provided by USAID and $11 million matched by the Department of Health in the Philippines to address tuberculosis in the Philippines. 266. 267. 268. 269. That same month, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, named John Green a 2024 TB elimination champion, and he published another op-ed in the Washington Post on the need for greater access to tuberculosis diagnostics in poorer countries. 270. 271. Henry, a young tuberculosis patient profiled by Green in Everything is Tuberculosis, shown at 16, left, and 4 years later, right, after a new treatment regimen. In October 2024, Green announced his second non-fiction book would be titled Everything is Tuberculosis, The History and Persistence of Our Deadliest Infection. 88. 272. 273. 274. The book was published on March 18, 2025 through Crash Course Books, a new imprint of Penguin Young Readers that is an extension of the Crash Course YouTube channel. 273. In it, Green wrote, TB has become the organizing principle of my professional life over the last 5 years. 275. The book tells the history of human responses to tuberculosis intertwined with the story of Henry Ryder, a young tuberculosis patient Green met in Sierra Leone in 2019, through which Green asserts that the disease is not primarily caused by the bacteria Mycobacterium tuberculosis anymore but by human choices. 276. 277. The book was a New York Times #1 bestseller in nonfiction for multiple weeks. 278. 279. Other efforts. In January 2023, John and Hank announced that Crash Course would be offering college courses on YouTube, in continued partnership with Arizona State University and Google, with the project's main goal being to lower the monetary barriers to receive college credit. 280, 281, 282. In May 2023, Hank announced he had Hodgkin's lymphoma, a type of cancer that affects the lymphatic system. While Hank received chemotherapy and recovered, John took over Hank's role as CEO for their companies DFTBA and Complexly. 283, 284. Laura Jakowski took over the role of CEO at DFTBA in August 2023, and Julie Walsh-Smith took over the role of acting CEO at Complexly in October 2023. 285, 161, 286. Green had announced in December 2017 that a film adaptation of Turtles All the Way Down was in development by Fox 2000 and Temple Hill Productions. 287. In May 2018, Green confirmed that the film adaptation would be written by Isaac Aptaker and Elizabeth Berger, the screenwriters for Love, Simon. 288. In January 2019, it was announced that Hannah Marks would direct the movie. 289. After Fox 2000 was closed as part of the acquisition of 21st Century Fox by Disney, the film was put on hold. In March 2022, it was announced the film had switched studios to New Line Cinema and would be released on the streaming service HBO Max. The film, starring Isabela Merced, began filming in April 2022. 290. Green and Rosianna House Rojas served as executive producers. 291. Turtles All the Way Down was released on Max on May 2, 2024. 292. 266. Green makes a cameo appearance in the film as Mr. Adler, a gym teacher at the protagonist's high school. 293. Influence and reception. Green at VidCon 2012. Books. All of Green's books have received positive critical reception and appeared on the New York Times bestseller list. 294. 26. 295. 296. Green's books have been translated into 55 languages with more than 50 million copies in print worldwide, including The Fault in Our Stars, which is one of the best-selling books of all time. 297. 17. For Green's idiosyncratic voice and rapid rise to fame in 2014 are credited with creating a major shift in the young adult fiction market. While reviewing the Andrew Smith young adult novel, Winger, A.J. Jacobs of the New York Times used the term greenlit to describe young adult books that contain sharp dialogue, defective authority figures, occasional boozing, unrequited crushes, and one or more heartbreaking twists. 298. 17. According to the Wall Street Journal, some credit him with ushering in a new golden era for contemporary, realistic, literary teen fiction, following more than a decade of dominance by books about young wizards, sparkly vampires, and dystopia. A blurb or Twitter endorsement from Mr. Green can ricochet around the internet and boost sales, an effect book bloggers call the John Green effect. Zareen Jaffari, executive editor of Simon & Schuster Books for Young Readers, said, "What I really like about what people are calling the John Green effect is that there's more of an interest in authentic, genuine, relatable characters." 10. 299. Some readers and authors have been critical of the terms. 300. Green himself voiced his disagreement with the idea that he is single-handedly responsible for launching or promoting any one individual's career. 300. 301. 302. Critics have also noted Green's evolution as an author. With the release of the Turtles All the Way Down in 2017, several reviewers referenced a dismissive perception of Green's now very popular oeuvre as sad teen books, which had emerged since the success of The Fault in Our Stars. Despite this, they praised Turtles All the Way Down as truthful and authentic enough to transcend these imagined drawbacks. Matt Haig of The Guardian wrote, "Turtles All the Way Down often dwells in cliché, but only as pop songs and epic poems do, mining the universal to create something that speaks to the familiar rhythms of the heart. It might just be a new modern classic." 303. 18. 304. Likewise, with the release of the Anthroposine Reviewed book in 2021, Scott Newmere of Shondaland wrote that, "Green may have made his name by writing fiction, and for good reason, but this first foray into non-fiction is his most mature, compelling, and beautifully written book yet. 305. Green has received criticism for his perceived writing of Manic Pixie Dream Girls, a term coined by Nathan Rabin to describe a female character that exists solely in the fevered imaginations of sensitive writer-directors to teach broodingly soulful young men to embrace life and its infinite mysteries and adventures. 58, 59, 306 Paper Towns and the character of Margot Roth Spiegelman have often been cited as a deconstruction of the Manic Pixie Dream Girl trope, and Green has stated he specifically wrote her as such. In October 2022, Green tweeted, "I think basically all criticisms of my work are correct and justifiable other than the most popular one," he writes Manic Pixie Dream Girls, "which is just so stupid. The whole point of the novels is the danger of such misimagining, hence the eventual revelation, Margot was not a miracle. She was not an adventure. She was not a fine and precious thing. She was a girl. It's not like I made it subtle." Despite this, some critics have questioned whether the story adequately deconstructed the trope, or merely perpetuated it. 58, 59 Green has readily discussed what he believes to be flaws in his novels when he looked at them in retrospect. 307 Additionally, in response to a fan's tweet, Green apologized for using the word retarded in Paper Towns, stating, "Yeah, I regret it. At the time, I thought an author's responsibility was to reflect language as I found it. Still, now, 8 years later, I don't feel like a book about humanizing the other benefited from dehumanizing language." 308. Book banning. Several of Green's books have been the subject of book banning attempts. 309, 310, 247, 311, 312 Looking for Alaska was named the most challenged book of 2015 by the American Library Association, with some people complaining about the book's offensive language and sexually explicit descriptions. 311 In September 2022, a group of parents attempted to ban the novel from all Orange County, Florida, school libraries, a district Green had attended as a child. 247, 313, 314. In August 2023, The Fault in Our Stars was removed from the young adult section at a library in the Indianapolis suburb of Fishers, Indiana, and moved to the general collection after a policy decision was made by the library's board that targeted language about sexuality and reproduction, profanity and criminal acts. Green responded with a letter to the board, stating the library should walk this awful policy back and allow the real experts to decide where to shelve my books and those of my colleagues. A Twitter post he made stating, "You won't catch me alive or dead in Fishers, Indiana" was turned into a t-shirt by a local clothing company, with proceeds being donated to the Kurt Vonnegut Museum and Library. 315, 316, 317 After the move received significant attention, the board decided to move the novel back to the young adult section, later suspending the policy responsible altogether. 318 In October, Green discussed book banning at an event hosted by Indiana State Senator Andrea Hunley at the Indianapolis Central Library. 319. In November 2023, Green joined a lawsuit by Penguin Random House, the Iowa State Education Association, and fellow authors Lori Halse Anderson, Melinda Lowe, and Jodi Picoult, against the state of Iowa over a new law that banned books that depict sex acts from schools. 320 In August 2024, he joined another lawsuit by Hachette Book Group, HarperCollins Publishers, Macmillan Publishers, Simon & Schuster, and Sourcebooks, as well as fellow authors Julia Alvarez, Lori Halse Anderson, Jodi Picoult, and Angie Thomas against the state of Florida over the state's book banning law. 321, 322. Online ventures. As John and Hank Green began uploading YouTube videos regularly in 2007, they became part of the early culture of YouTube as the modern content creator industry was born from the YouTube Partner Program. 159.90 The New York Times noted John as having an uncanny knack for channeling the voice of marginalized but smart, self-identifying nerds, a gift he has turned into a YouTube empire. 11 Many others have come to regard the brothers and their YouTube empire as pioneering in the online video space. 323 11 143 In 2011, The Daily Dot named the Green brothers as the most important people on YouTube. 324. The Vlogbrothers content has received positive reception from commentators and fans, especially for the shared values expounded by their videos. Amelia Thompson DeVoe, writing for the American Prospect, commented that, "What makes Nerdfighteria so potent does seem to be the moral imperative that the brothers Green throw at their bajillion viewers' feet, to take their weirdness and anxiety and turn it into empathy. It's become kind of a culture." 309 The Crash Course project has also been successful in its reach, with the John Green-hosted World History series alone having attracted millions of viewers. 325 326 327. Personal life and interests. John Green with his wife Sarah Eurist Green in 2008. Green is married to Sarah Eurist Green, with whom he has 2 children. 328 517 John and Sarah met when they both attended the same preparatory school in Indian Springs, Alabama. 514 They became reacquainted 8 years later in Chicago, when Green began dating Sarah's boxing partner. After they broke up, John became friends with Sarah. 5 The two became engaged in April 2005, 14 and married in May 2006. 329 5 In early videos on the Vlogbrothers channel, Sarah is referred to as the Yeti due to her not appearing visibly on camera, though she is no longer referred to as such. 5. Green was born in Indianapolis, Indiana, and has lived there since 2007. The city has served as the setting for several of his novels, and he wrote a review of it in his podcast and book of essays, The Anthroposine Reviewed. Green often speaks of his love for the city. 330 38 331 332 On July 14, 2015, Greg Ballard, the mayor of Indianapolis, proclaimed that that day would be John Green Day in his city. 333 That month, Teresa Jacobs, the mayor of Orange County, Florida, declared that July 24th would also be John Green Day. 334. Green is an Episcopalian. 335 And was married in a Catholic church. 336 14 Green is an avid sports fan. 156 248 Green drove the pace car at the 2016 Grand Prix of Indianapolis, and was honorary CO chairman of the 500 Festival Host Committee that year. 337 338 He is also a supporter of the English football club Liverpool FC of the Premier League and an official sponsor of the English League One club AFC Wimbledon, whose kit have featured a Nerdfighters emblem on the back of their shorts since 2014. 156 339 Starting in 2011, Green had a gaming series on YouTube where he played FIFA, first as the Swoodallipoopers, a fictionalized version of Swindon Town FC, and then, starting in 2013, as the Wimbly Woomleys, a fictionalized version of AFC Wimbledon. Advertising revenue from the series was donated to the team. 340 156 3. Turtles All the Way Down is a 2024 American romantic drama film based on the 2017 novel of the same name by John Green. The film is directed by Hannah Marks from a screenplay by Elizabeth Berger and Isaac Aptaker, and stars Isabela Merced. The story centers on a 16-year-old with obsessive-compulsive disorder who pursues the disappearance of a billionaire. The project began development at Fox 2000 Pictures in December 2017, with Berger and Aptaker announced as screenwriters and Marks set to direct it in January 2019. Because the Walt Disney Company acquired 21st Century Fox, the parent company of Fox 2000 Pictures, Disney closed Fox 2000 and put the project into turnaround, until it was eventually acquired by New Line Cinema. Merced, who had starred in another adaptation of Green's work, Let It Snow, 2019, was announced in March 2022. Principal photography began in April of the same year in Cincinnati and ended in June. Turtles All the Way Down was released on May 2, 2024, on the streaming service Max. Premise. See also, Turtles All the Way Down, novel, plot summary. This article's plot summary needs to be improved. Please help do so. Relevant discussion may be found on the talk page. May 2024, learn how and when to remove this message. When a 16-year-old struggling with obsessive-compulsive disorder reconnects with her childhood crush, she confronts the possibility of finding love and happiness in the face of mental illness. Cast: Isabela Merced as Ozza Holmes, Cree as Daisy, Felix Mallard as Davis, Malik Johnson as Michael, Purna Jagannathan as Dr. Kira Singh, Judy Reyes as Gina, J. Smith Cameron as Professor Abbott, Hannah Marks as Holly, Debbie Ryan as Quinn, John Green as Mr. Adler, Jason Keynes as Mark Holmes. Production: Turtles All the Way Down was optioned by Fox 2000 Pictures upon the publication of the novel in 2017 too, with John Green and Rosianna House Rojas as executive producers. 3-4 Elizabeth Berger and Isaac Aptaker were announced as screenwriters in May 2018. 5 and Hannah Marks was announced as director in January 2019. 6 After the Walt Disney Company acquired and subsequently closed Fox 2000 Pictures, the project was put into turnaround until it was eventually acquired by New Line Cinema, with distribution rights later passing to the streaming service HBO Max, which would subsequently be replaced by Max. 2-7 The film is also produced by Marty Bowen, Wyck Godfrey, and Isaac Klausner of Temple Hill Entertainment, which also produced screen adaptations of Green's previous novels. 7. Isabela Merced, who had previously starred in another adaptation of Green's work, Let It Snow, 2019, was announced in March 2022. 7 and Judy Reyes, Cree Chiquino, Felix Mallard, J. Smith Cameron, Purna Jagannathan, and Malik Johnson were announced as part of the cast in the following months. 8-9. Principal photography began in Cincinnati, Ohio, on April 26, 2022 to 10 and ended in June. 7. In January 2024, it was announced that the film would have a first look at the Savannah College of Art and Design SCAD TV Fest in Atlanta on February 9, 2024. 11. Release: Turtles All the Way Down was released on Max on May 2, 2024. 12-13. Reception: on the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, 86% of 28 critics' reviews are positive, with an average rating of 6.6/10. 14 Metacritic, which uses a weighted average, assigned the film a score of 64 out of 100. Based on 9 critics, indicating generally favorable reviews. 15. Adrian Horton of The Guardian awarded the movie 3 stars out of 5 and wrote that it struggles to find a balance between relatable teenage angst and heightened vessel for emotions that feel bigger than life, but complimented the depiction of thought spirals from obsessive-compulsive disorder and Merced's performance. Isabella Yolanda Moner 1-2, born July 10, 2001. 3. Known professionally as Isabela Merced since 2019, is an American actress. She played the lead role in the Nickelodeon television series 100 Things to Do Before High School, 2014-2016, and went on to feature in the films Transformers, The Last Night, 2017, Instant Family, 2018, and Sicario, Day of the Soldado, 2018. She starred as the titular character in the adventure film Dora and the Lost City of Gold, 2019, and played main roles in the films Turtles All the Way Down and Alien, Romulus, both in 2024. In 2025, she had a starring role in the second season of the HBO series The Last of Us, and played Hawkgirl in Superman. Early life: Merced was born in Cleveland, Ohio. 3-4 She is the daughter of Katrine, a nurse, who was born in Lima, Peru, and Patrick Moner, a firefighter, who was born in Louisiana. 3-5-6 Merced has stated that Spanish was her first language, and she struggled with English when she first started grade school. 5 Adding that she considers herself half Peruvian and half from Ohio. I wish I could say I'm 100% Peruvian, I've always felt that way. 7. She has 2 brothers. At age 15, she was accepted into college. 8-9. Merced began acting after her family's Cleveland home was destroyed by a fire. Her father was the firefighter on call that night. 6. She was a Judy Garland fan, so her parents, in an attempt to distract her from the loss, encouraged Merced to audition for a local production of The Wizard of Oz. She agreed and was cast as a Munchkin. She attended the Fairmount Performing Arts Conservatory, led by Broadway producer Fred Sternfeld, who tried to persuade Merced's mother into taking her to New York to pursue auditions. After some reluctance, her mother agreed, and the family moved to New York City for a month to help Merced pursue a career on Broadway. 8-10. Career. Merced has said that she wanted to be an actress from a young age, inspired by movies featuring Shirley Temple and Judy Garland and starting in local community theater at age 6. 11. Merced booked her first job, a Claritin commercial, on what was supposed to be her last day in New York City during the summer she spent auditioning there. 8. She made her Broadway debut at age 10 in a production of Evita 12 in which she sang in Spanish with Ricky Martin. 5. Merced's first starring performance was as C.J. Martin, the lead role on the Nickelodeon television series 100 Things to Do Before High School 5-12-13 from 2014 to 2016. That same year, she began providing the voice of Kate, one of the main characters in the Dora the Explorer spin-off, Dora and Friends, Into the City, a role she performed from 2014 to 2017. 14. In 2015, she appeared as Lori Collins in the Nickelodeon original movie Splitting Adam 15 and was cast as Sadie, one of the leading roles, in the 2016 Nickelodeon original movie Legends of the Hidden Temple. 16-17. Merced's debut album Stopping Time, 2015, was produced by Broadway Records. 18. In May 2016, Merced was cast in the film Transformers: The Last Night, which was released in June 2017. 19-20. She voiced Heather in the animated film The Nut Job 2, Nutty by Nature, which was theatrically released on August 11, 2017. 21. Merced in 2018. In 2018, Merced had a major role in Sicario, Day of the Soldado, playing the daughter of a drug cartel head 22-23 in a performance lauded by critics. The New Yorker's Anthony Lane wrote, "Mona is terrific, and her character's fortunes can be read in her eyes blazing to begin with, as she scraps with another girl in a schoolyard, but dark and blank by the end, their youthful fire doused by the violence that she has seen." 24. In the same year, she played the adopted daughter of the characters played by Mark Wahlberg and Rose Byrne in the comedy film Instant Family 25, for which she also wrote and sang the song I'll Stay. 26-27. In 2019, Merced starred as the title character in Dora and the Lost City of Gold, a live-action film adaptation of the animated series 28-29, and was cast in the Christmas romantic comedy ensemble film Let It Snow. 30. The same year, she was cast opposite Jason Momoa in the film Sweet Girl for Netflix. 31. On October 14, 2019, Merced announced that she had decided to change her stage name to Isabela Merced in memory of her late grandmother. 32. Her first single, Papi, was released in 2019. 33. Followed by her first music video released on November 6, 2019. 34. Failed verification. Merced released her debut EP The Better Half of Me in 2020 through Republic Records. 35. Independent source needed and was named one of Billboard's top 15 new Peruvian artists to listen to in July 2020. 33. In 2024, she starred in Turtles All the Way Down, a film adaptation of the 2017 novel by John Green. 36-37. And Fede Alvarez's Alien, Romulus. 38. In April 2025, Merced appeared as Dina in Season 2 of The Last of Us. 39. In July 2025, Merced appeared as Kendra Saunders / Hawkgirl in the DC Universe, DCU, film Superman, 2025. 40. Personal life. Merced describes herself as having been queer my whole life, and has been in queer relationships. 41-42 She says she aims to do her part for the queer community in American pop culture. 43 She attributes her Catholic upbringing to her having been closeted out of being complicit and somebody who has accepted, maybe suppressing their queerness for their environment, basically, and to adapt. 44. She has polycystic ovary syndrome. 45 And has attended therapy and openly discussed her struggles with anxiety. Cree Chiquino, born May 9, 2002 123, is an American actress. She began her career as a child actress playing one of the lead characters, Babe, in the Nickelodeon comedy television series Game Shakers, which aired from 2015 to 2019. She then went on to portray Marisol Fuentes in the Netflix comedy television series Mr. Iglesias, Mim in the 2020 Netflix film The Sleepover, and Daisy in the 2024 film Turtles All the Way Down. Life and career. Chiquino grew up in Glendale, Queens, New York. 4 She is half Ecuadorian, half Italian and has a twin sister. 2 Chiquino started dancing at age 4, 5, 6 but her mother put her in acting classes at 11 or 12 years old, after which she decided she wanted to be an actress. 47. In 2015, at age 13, Chiquino was cast in leading role of Babe in the Nickelodeon television comedy series Game Shakers 8-9, which ran for 3 seasons. 4 In August 2018, she was cast in the role of Marisol Fuentes on the Netflix comedy series Mr. Iglesias, which debuted in 2019. 10 In August 2019, Chiquino was cast as Mim, best friend to Clancy whose parents are kidnapped, in the Netflix film The Sleepover, which was released in August 2020. 11-12 In July 2021, she was cast as Luisa Torres in the HBO Max limited television series And Just Like That, based on Sex and the City. 13. Chiquino starred as Daisy Ramirez in the film Turtles All the Way Down, directed by Hannah Marks. 14 And released on Max, formerly HBO Max, in May 2024. She is credited by only her first name in the film, having revealed her decision to continue her career anonymously as Cree in a Zach Sang podcast the week before its release. Of the name change, she stated it just felt the most comfortable, and that it marked her moving into a new era with her acting when she entered her 20s. Malik Johnson, born June 22, 2000, is an American actor. He is known for his role as Jason Jackson in the Netflix series Grand Army. His films include Little Boxes, Little Men, and Knucklehead. Early life. Johnson was born in Brooklyn, his first home in Starrett City, to Mark Johnson and Tracy Stith. He grew up in the Bedford-Stuyvesant area where his father owned Headhunter Barbershop from 1996 until its closure in 2015 due to gentrification. 1-2. Malik attended Cobble Hill School of American Studies. 3 His first television appearance was in a 2004 Pediasure commercial. He appeared in catalogs and adverts with gigs such as Verizon, Gap, Target, Pillsbury, Zulily, UFT, Macy's, Sean John, Aeropostale, and Kohl's. He took acting classes with opening act. He is now based in Queens. J. Smith Cameron is an American actress. She gained prominence for her roles as Janet Talbot in the Sundance TV series Rectify, 2013-2016, and Jerry Kellman in the HBO series Succession, 2018-2023, the latter of which earned her 2 Primetime Emmy Award nominations. She spent a majority of her career in theater, making her Broadway debut in the 1982 Beth Henley play Crimes of the Heart. She went on to receive a Tony Award for Best Featured Actress in a Play nomination for the Timberlake Worden Baker play Our Country's Good, 1989. She was also nominated for the Drama Desk Award for Outstanding Actress in a Play for Sean O'Casey's Juno and the Paycock, 2014. For her role in the film Nancy, 2018, she was nominated for the Independent Spirit Award for Best Supporting Female. Her other notable films include 84, Charing Cross Road, 1987, Mighty Aphrodite, 1995, Sabrina, 1995, In and Out, 1997, You Can Count on Me, 2000, Margaret, 2011, and Christine, 2016. She also appeared in the television series True Blood, 2010-2011, Divorce, 2016-2018, Search Party, 2017-2020, and Fleischman is in Trouble, 2022. Early life and education. Smith was born in Louisville, Kentucky, the daughter of architect Richard Sharp Smith and granddaughter of architect Richard Sharp Smith. 1. She attended Florida State University for 1 year and was enrolled in its School of Theater, where she met film director Victor Nunez, who cast her as a lead in his film Gal Young-un, 1979. 2. She also studied acting at HB Studio 3 in New York City. She began being credited as J. Smith in college out of concern that her first name, Jeannie, was too girlish. 4. She added a family name, Cameron, when the Actors Equity Association told her there was already a J. Smith, and there was a rule that 2 actors could not have the same professional name. 5. Career. She made her Broadway debut in August 1982, replacing Mia Dillon as Babe Bottrell in Crimes of the Heart. 6-7-8 She appeared as Maggie,